that I saw of what I like is if a team has a really fast car, that they're still able to make moves and get back up to the front versus being trapped. I think that's the one thing I'd like to see a little bit tweaked. If they could fix that, I think they're on the right track. Let me ask you this before we get out of here. Do you think the rule change from the fact that now NASCAR is not doing this whole encumbered thing? If you're caught and your car is deemed illegal, you get stripped of your win, the money, all that stuff. Do you think that will have an impact on competition where guys aren't going to push the envelope and be substantially better than the cars around them?
I think it's great. I love the rule. I love the fact that we leave Sunday night and we know the winner and it's final.
Yeah.
That eliminates some of the debate that we've had last year and the years before with like Logano and some of these other drivers who have had these encumbered wins. They lose a little bit of points. They lose playoff points. You just eliminate all of that garbage. No other sport does that kind of thing. You know, the Saints, they would love it if that happened. If the NFL came back 3 days later and said, whoops, we blew that call. You know, the Rams have an encumbered win, so they're not going to the Super Bowl. No other sport has that. So I love the fact that they did that. And I think you're right. I think it might actually equalize competition a little bit because some of these crew chiefs, they're not quite going to be able to go and tiptoe on the cliff, on the edge as much as they have in the past because, boom, if you're in that gray area, you're risking a major penalty to your team, and no sponsor and no owner is going to love it if that happens.
No, I think it's the best rule that they've changed in the last couple of years. You got to stop this whole thing about wait until Tuesday and Wednesday. I mean, what they did to Harvick, look, they kind of did it to themselves, but the fact that we didn't know that at the track and that kind of story broke and had that kind of impact on the playoffs and changed sort of everything going into that last race before the final at Homestead, that just can't happen. They've got to fix this stuff. I think most fans would be fine with, an hour to an hour and a half after the race if somebody is that illegal that they know right then you strip the win. And if as long as the second place car passes, that's your winner. It's the same thing with horse racing. If you're deemed to be doing something wrong or you bump into another horse and you impede them and they feel like you broke the rules, they'll just strip you of the win. What NASCAR was trying to do, Eric, it was like a little slap on the wrist and you got I mean, especially if you had a win that was legit. Why not push the envelope? Who cares at that point if the win still counted for you? You just couldn't use it toward the playoffs, but your sponsor got all of that notoriety. You got another win that still counts on your record. Why not push the envelope? I think that will have as much of an impact on the competition on track as the rule change.
Yeah, totally agree. There wasn't much risk. I mean, all the money and all of the exposure for the sponsor was worth it enough. I'm 100% with you on that. Really looking forward to Vegas. We've already got two different winners this season. We've got Hamlin. We've got Keselowski already from two different teams. And there's other guys that are right there too. And I think it's worth giving a shout out to a guy like Matt DiBenedetto, who came from a small team. We've thrown his name out there before. I think I'm a fan of his. I don't know if you are or not, but I mean,
for sure.
We're a small podcast and you've got him who's been on small racing teams and really gone out and done it the right way. He seems like a fun guy on social media. He does a lot with the fans, does a lot with sponsor activation. Now he took a risk on himself, went over to the 95 Levine Family Racing, and they were having a fantastic Daytona 500. Unfortunately, got caught up in a little bit of a mess there with just a drafting mistake with Paul Menard. But got to give that shout out to Matt DiBenedetto because right there in that first race, he was not only fifth when he crashed, but Justin, he was running anywhere from first to fifth all day long. And that was late in the race when that happened. So shout out to Matt DiBenedetto. Well, that's going to do it for episode 237. We know it's gone a little bit longer than most of our episodes, but we've had a break and there's been a lot of action in the world of sports. We appreciate you listening. We thank you for going through all of the sports with us. And if you've had a good time and you enjoyed the show, head over to iTunes, give us that 5-star rating. We'll be back next week with more talk-worthy news in sports. We appreciate you listening. Have a good weekend. Thank you for listening to this episode of Talk Back. Staying current on sports is our number one goal, so we drop a new episode each Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or the podcatcher of your choice. For more info about the show, to meet the host, or to partner with us on future episodes, please visit TalkbackFanTalk.com. We really enjoy hearing your take on the world of sports, even when you disagree. After all, this show is dedicated to you, the fans. So get direct access to us on Twitter using @TalkbackJustin and @TalkbackEric. check out our corporate feed on Twitter and Instagram using the handle @TalkbackFanTalk. We hope you have a great week. We'll talk back at you next time.